What is up, you guys? The Jaeger here, coming at you with a quick is it worth in-depth for the game Destiny. I will be giving away some codes towards the end. I'll be giving away codes that everyone can use for some emblems and some shaders and cool stuff like that. And then I'll also be giving away a couple of the codes from one of the limited edition copies that I got of the game as well. But first off, I just want to let you guys know kind of my background in gaming. I've worked for a couple gaming studios before. I've played video games professionally. I've been in and around the industry for the better part of 5 years now. And I play pretty much every game that comes out, from indie games to major titles as well. So I think everyone that's going to watch this video, and almost everyone in the gaming industry, has heard of the game Destiny. They've put so much hype into this game. They've made this one of the biggest media events of the year, one of the biggest launches of the year. I mean, heck, they even spent $500 million on this game, which is an absurd amount to spend on a video game, which I don't think it's ever been done before, and I doubt that it'll be duplicated anytime soon. And I do think qualities of the game are really phenomenal. But you also have to take into consideration what you're buying right now, day one, from the game Destiny. And also you have to take into consideration the amount of hype that they've put into it. It's not like a game that you didn't really notice coming up on you. Like the Borderlands series, you never really heard that much hype coming up behind all the Borderlands games. The people and the fans, they made more of the hype. There weren't these huge ad campaigns. There weren't all these different things. You were saying it's going to be a 10-year game, it's going to be the game of the year. And there's all this hype that's pushed behind Destiny. Kind of set it up on a pedestal, and just to be frank, I don't think it lived up to that pedestal. I think it's a great game. I just don't think it lived up to all the hype that they anticipated behind it. From a story standpoint, it had a very decent story. It was very minimalistic. Me and my roommate were talking about this the other day. It was like it skimmed the surface. It didn't really go into in-depth about a lot of the different factions and whatnot. I don't want to give any spoilers out there, but it didn't give you a whole lot of depth. It didn't really make you feel involved. Like, that's one thing that the Halo story did so well from Bungie, was the story was amazing. It made you feel involved. It made you feel like you were a part of the game. It made you want to know what was going to happen. This story is just kind of like, you're kind of like beating around the bush. You're not really getting into it. Maybe the DLC is going to have you dive in more. Maybe you're going to release content often, like that Queens thing that's coming out next week or a couple weeks from now. Maybe that kind of stuff is going to dwell deeper into it. But right now, day one and week one, there's just not a whole lot of content to tell you about the different factions, to tell you about the different stories, to tell you about the different places and all this stuff. And it's just, I feel like something's missing from there. And then also the missions were somewhat redundant. There was a lot of variants that they could have gone with. It would have been super simple. I'm a computer science major, so I know for a fact the programming end of it would not be that challenging to make some of these missions that much more exciting. I just felt like too many times it was, hey, go here, put your ghost down, defend your ghost, okay, go kill that guy. That's how so many of the missions were. I mean, just a simplistic thing they could have done is make you go on a mission. Maybe your ghost battery dies, or he dies, or he gets kidnapped or something, and you don't have your ghost, so you have to find out where you're going. Or instead of guiding you exactly to all these bosses, make you find them, make you explore and get them. Instead, it's a very linear story. It's a very linear open world. And on top of that, you can kind of fast travel to all the different areas. You don't even have to, like when you do the patrol thing, that's the only time you're really roaming. So for the massive open world landscape that they painted for us, I just don't see it as that massive. The areas aren't really that big, and then once you get to a higher level, it's just everything's like level 10 and 11, and you can kind of farm pretty easily. But the fact that it's an MMO and other people come in, maybe if you find a good farming spot to try to get tons of cool loot, there's always going to be somebody come in and just try to kill still and take your loot as well. I know it's only shared on your screen, but it's pretty annoying when somebody comes up and they're just trying to mess up the spawns on your farming area. It's a problem that I ran into a couple times as well. From the strike missions, it's literally the same thing as from the game, which kind of sucks. Just harder difficulty, more mobs, but that's it. There's no variants. There's no only strike missions are available in the strike playlist, at least that I've seen. I've not seen any of those. There might be. The raids, we'll know about that earlier in the week. I don't see them being that different. I hope that it is something completely different. Maybe it's something procedurally generated so it changes every time. That would be great. Just we have no clue about that. And then lastly, the multiplayer. Right now, I think this game's multiplayer is probably one of the most broken multiplayers I've ever seen at a release. It favors the higher level people just because you have better guns so much. And on top of that, the game gives you so many cop-outs for a quick kill. Even though it has such a long time to kill, which is a very depressing thing. Like, if you want to have a long time to kill, that should be the case. And then maybe your super is the only way to defeat that. Aside from that, it's always going to be a long time to kill, which I'm totally be cool with that. But instead, you have certain guardians who get special melees, who their melees are then a one-hit kill, and then others whose melees aren't. Like, for example, the Titan has a one-hit kill melee, and then the Hunter gets a throwing knife that isn't even a one-hit kill sometimes when it's in the head. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Also, the gun balancing. It just really favors people who have a lot better, higher level guns. It's not really kind of neutralizing everyone and giving everyone the same equipment. It's not really a bad thing. It's just kind of a disadvantage of the lower level people. I leveled really quickly and I played a lot really quickly, so I've kind of been one of the higher level people preying on the smaller guys, unfortunately. But I mean, like, I have a fusion rifle that bounces off stuff and it can bounce around corners and hit people, and that's completely unfair to a player who's not near max level or can get that gun. There's so many guns like that, and then also the balancing between the primary and the special. Like, if you know how to gap close and you know how to avoid long-range gunfights, you should never use a primary weapon, because the shotguns are one-hit kills and fusion bursts are one-hit kills. And those guns just melt so much faster than primary weapons, which is ridiculous. And then from a primary standpoint, there's no reason to use anything other than an auto rifle or a hand cannon, and even a hand cannon's not that great. The pulse rifle and the scout rifle, they're just so slow you can't finish people off. And then you have other times when the sniper and the shotguns and the fusion rifles are so powerful, I don't even know why you want to use the auto rifle sometimes. And then, like I said, there's just so many different ways to get those one-hit kills. There's all the supers and everything. They're so powerful that you can just melt through an entire enemy team in a second. Or the flip side of it, I've had times when I've been using an auto rifle. I saw a guy coming from 15, 20 feet away. I started shooting him in the face, not missing a single shot. Every single shot was a headshot. And you can, because you can see the yellow marks on it, and then he just runs right through it and melees me and I'm dead. That's just very depressing. I think that's kind of unfortunate. Then the 3v3 setups and then the other game modes I think are cool, but none of them are really that great. There's nothing really too tactical or anything like that. Honestly, as long as you stay together as a team, use your specials like your shotguns and your fusions, you honestly could stay together as a pack of 5 or 6, or even the 3v3 game modes. You can stay together in that small group and you can just annihilate people. When me and my friends get together and we just do that, like, it's no big deal for all of us to be in double-digit KDs. Just because it's untouchable, because you just can't be stopped. If there's 2 or 3 of you running together with a shotgun, you go into a room and there's 2 or 3 of them, they're probably not going to be working together. And the shotguns melt so quickly, they probably all 3 don't have shotguns out. So as long as you can get a couple of your shots on, y'all 3 can take out an entire room. And it's ridiculous how it can melt that quickly. I do think the game is great. It has seemed like I've said a lot of negatives about it. I think it is a phenomenal game. I think the merchants and the styling of it and all that stuff is really cool. It's very grind oriented, and from right now there's just not a whole lot of content. I feel like there's not a whole lot of multiplayer game modes. I mean, there's only 4 main ones, and then there's one that's available for the weekend right now. And then the merchants and stuff, you have to wear their material, or you have to do Vanguard missions to level them up to get their stuff. And then when you play the game, like, I've grinded for probably 5-6 hours and not seen any purple weapon. The only thing purple I've been getting has been class anagrams, which is ridiculous. But for me right now, I just feel like the only thing left is just to get all gold equipment, which is not even that fun. I mean, I had the game beat in less than 24 hours. I was max level right after 24 hours into the game. I didn't really find that too enjoyable. I wish the game would have been longer. I wish the leveling would have taken longer. I just feel like the leveling system was very quick. And then even then, I don't feel like there's a lot of level separation, because, like, once again, like a game like Borderlands, when you're, like, say a level 20 or 30 and you go back through a mission and you see weaker level 10s, you can literally set your controller down, walk away from your controller, go eat, come back, and your guy still won't be dead, because they just can't kill you because you're so tough. But in this, you can see 2 level 12s and I'm like a level 23, and they can knock my shield down and have me one hit in like 2 seconds. All in all, this is kind of a longer review, just more of an in-depth. I kind of went over everything. I try to show you guys some cool little gameplay throughout as well, a little bit of multiplayer, a little bit of single player. If you guys have any questions or want me to elaborate on anything, I'll be glad to. I'm going to start trying to do like in-depths on like the maps, maybe some missions and guns and whatnot, best balances. But right now, like I said, the multiplayer just feels so broken to me. I mean, I'm used to playing Call of Duty. I've played that professionally, and Call of Duty has never been the greatest when it comes out by any far stretch of the imagination. But I just feel like this launch was just so... I honestly feel like it was rushed. They just don't have a lot in there. There's not a raid up. There's certain merchants that only come to on the weekends. There's certain features that they say they're going to implement soon. They brought in a multiplayer event for this weekend, which I don't think is always going to be there. So they're normally only going to have 4 multiplayer modes, which seems really light to me. All in all, I think it's a great game. Right now, day 1, week 1, I don't think it's worth $60 though. Maybe when they throw in some more content, maybe in a month or two, whenever the multiplayer is balanced, they balance some guns, they've fixed some stuff, either decrease the time to kill or increase the time to kill, one of the two, to make way for all the other insta kills basically. Once they balance all that stuff, it'll probably be a great game, and I do think this game's going to have a really good future. I think the DLC is going to really help it out in the long run. But right now, I would just honestly wait if you haven't bought it. I mean, if you like what I've said and if you like the gameplay and you've seen stuff you liked, I mean, by all means, get it. Especially if you want to have a good time with your friends, the missions and whatnot, and playing together and playing in tandem with a little fire team of 3. Like, that's really fun and it's really enjoyable. And that's honestly the most fun I've had, though. Like, if you're playing this by yourself, it's not that fun. It's a grind, especially the multiplayer. You always get frustrated because you're like, how did this dude melt me when I just unloaded a whole clip into him and he one-shot me? And I don't know, it's just very frustrating all in all, I think. But honestly, I would wait a couple weeks. I think this game is going to be worth $60. In the long run, I think it's definitely going to be worth $60. Just release week right now, 5, 6 days in, however long it's been. I just don't think it's worth $60 today. But right now, I'm going to throw up on the screen all the codes and whatnot that are going to be for everyone. As you can see those right now, you can use those codes. Anyone can use those codes. Those are public codes. You could do them from doing certain objectives and whatnot. One of my friends actually stumbled upon most of these, and then I've seen a lot of them on Reddit, and I compiled a bigger list of them myself. And I'll throw them on here for you guys. And then right here, I'm going to give out some of my codes from one of the limited edition on PlayStation 4. So we have PS4. Try to put that in there and see if it works. Honestly, whoever watches this video first is probably going to get all of them, but that's just how it goes. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or want me to elaborate on anything, I will be more than welcome to. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a few more videos on Destiny in the coming weeks. I had a big plan to do a whole lot of the multiplayer, but after playing it, it's just honestly not that fun for me right now. It's not that enjoyable for me right now. So I'm going to try to make a couple of videos for you guys to help you guys out. And hopefully they'll change it and then it'll become something a lot more enjoyable. But all in all, thank you guys for watching once again, and peace out, guys.